Good afternoon, and welcome to the Sean Ferrell podcast. I am Sean Ferrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Let's not waste no time. Let's get right to it, shall we? So, there's been a recent uptick in professional athletes, celebrities speaking out about their mental health challenges. Um, I'll just say it again: Dak, Kevin Love, Hayden Hurst, Solomon Thomas, just to name a few, have spoke about their mental health challenges. And my main man Royce White as well. He's a mental health advocate. So John Brenkus, who used to do sports science, he sold sports science to ESPN, and after he sold sports science, he became depressed. So depressed to the point where he was actually considering suicide. Okay. And he told his story where he actually had a rope around his neck and his dog came and just started gnawing at his pants. And he actually said that his dog saved his life. And so that was a pretty good story to hear. His dog saved his life. Okay. So, Lisa Guerrero, you probably know her on Inside Edition, but back in 2003, she used to be a reporter for Monday Night Football. And she actually worked with Al Michaels and John Madden. Rest in peace, John Madden. She actually worked on Monday Night Football with Al and John. And she had landed her dream job. She said she had landed her dream job. Is what she said at the time. But her dream job was also a bit of a nightmare. I read her story and it was inspirational. It was heartbreaking, sad. And I'm just gonna these are some of the things that I took from her story. She was a Monday Night Football reporter, of course. Dream job. That was a dream job. A complete nightmare. She used to be a cheerleader for the LA Rams. And she was replacing Melissa Stark. She was replacing Melissa Stark as a sideline reporter. And she did an interview with Charlie Gibson of Good Morning America back then. And Charlie didn't ask her too many questions. Then he walked off set, which surprised Lisa Guerrero, because now she thought that, hey, Charlie Gibson already hates her. Okay. So she did a photo shoot for FHM magazine. It's a men's magazine. And she did a photo shoot that would help get her more recognized, enhance her brand a look, enhance her brand, get her get her name out there more. But it turned out to be just the opposite. Because there were critics of her who were saying she was hired just on looks, not because of her working her way up through the ranks. The criticism was she was hired just for her looks, strictly on looks. And so Keith Olbermann. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Anyway, Keith Olbermann said that Al and John should resign in protest over Lisa Guerrero's presence on Monday Night Football. She was receiving a ton of criticism, and her bosses and her boss in the production truck, while she was doing stuff on live TV, live in front of a camera, her bosses would actually yell at her through her earpiece. And they were saying how she didn't look right while she was on camera. She looked scared. Well, her bosses were yelling at her through her earpiece as she was doing stuff on live TV. And she was receiving all this criticism. And she went back to the production truck after her first Monday Night Football game of the year. And she went to the production truck and she got chewed out. She got chewed out, left. She cried. This is when she began having nightmares. She had nightmares. She was only averaging about 3 hours of sleep. She could not eat. She didn't want to get out of bed. She wanted to address it, but she was too anxious and exhausted. And when she did try to get her mind off of it, like watching a movie or something, her attention span was not there. So she had no attention span because she was just thinking about the mistakes that she made. Okay? And like I said, her bosses yelled at her while she was on camera, and they said she looked terrified. She looked scared on camera. She was. Yeah. So I believe she met a baseball player who was her boyfriend, and her boyfriend knew what was going on with her at that time. She knew about the bosses, or rather, he knew about the bosses who were yelling at her. So in Thanksgiving of 2003, her boyfriend proposed to her. She said yes. And so she's smiling. She took a sip of champagne. There was just one problem with that. She could not taste the champagne. She could not taste the champagne. See, depression affects you that much. Okay? Depression can affect you so much that you can't even taste food or drink. Okay? She took a sip of the champagne. She could not taste it. Let me close this out real quick. Yeah, that's how much depression can affect you. That's how much depression affected her. She couldn't taste the champagne. She couldn't taste the food he ate. Food and drink lose her flavor. So that's one of the side effects of the oppression. And I forgot to mention this. I mentioned the struggle she was having on the sidelines as a reporter. I believe it was her uncle who worked in the health field, and I believe it was called situational. Ooh, my back. Oh, my back. I've pretty much been on my butt pretty much the whole weekend, so anyway. Her uncle had what she called situational depression. Okay. It was situational depression, which kind of made sense because sideline reporter, you're interviewing coaches, you're interviewing players. By the way, she actually butchered some of the players on the team. Yes, yeah. I think she butchered some of the players, the players who played for her, their team. She butchered it. So, so she said yes to her boyfriend. The engagement was announced on broadcast on air, but mentally she was in a dark place. And as I was reading her story, she said, "How can she plan a wedding when she's thinking about ending her own life?" Yeah. How can you think about planning a wedding when you're thinking about ending your own life? And I know I talked about, I made a video a while back saying how, talking about why people who are successful or are doing well have the oppression, just smile through it. And that's what she did. She was like just mentally in a dark place, but she was on camera. She kept smiling through it, kept smiling through the mental pain and anguish. Yeah, but she asked herself, who plans a wedding when they're thinking about ending their own lives? She felt worn down from a lack of sleep, lack of nourishment, and all she found was just loneliness, depression, and she mentioned how her co-workers, her friends noticed it, but they did not ask. They did not ask her if she was okay, and that just led to more loneliness, feelings of loneliness, depression. And so this is the part that really got me. So she was on camera. She was pregnant. It was around that time she was pregnant too. And she was on camera. Then all of a sudden she just felt something. She felt something in between her legs. And she thought she had her period. But she had a miscarriage on live TV. I kid you not. She had a miscarriage on live TV. Okay? I kid you not. She had a miscarriage on live TV. So, I won't go into the details of her miscarriage, but um, she ran to the she ran to the bathroom. No, several times. She ran to the bathroom several times. She said she just continued to push through the push through the pain of having a miscarriage on live TV. On live TV. She said she just pushed through it, and after everything was over, she just bolted straight to the bathroom. And so, no, she's doing well now. I know for the final games of that year, for the final few games of that year, she just began ignoring her bosses who were yelling at her through her earpiece. And she just began being herself again, talking in her own words, talking in the camera through her own words. And but she was fired after only 1 year, okay? She was fired after only 1 year. Now she's on Inside Edition. And that story right there. Just imagine this. You're so depressed. You're so depressed. You are that much in a dark place that you can't taste food. You can't taste drink. And it allows you to have a miscarriage. Man. That's depression. That's depression. That's what depression does to you. That's what depression does to you, okay? That's what depression does. And let's see. I mentioned Charlie Gibson, who worked for Good Morning America at the time. And so I'm just gonna read you something. In late July, she flew to New York City for the announcement of her hiring with Charlie Gibson. Good Morning America with Diane Sawyer. Instead of asking about my previous work on television, he referred to my time as a cheerleader with the Rams 16 years earlier. It seemed to me that Charlie did not think I was qualified, but I smiled wide. I've been a sports reporter and anchor in LA for a decade, I said. And I was on the best damn sports show, period. He said he thought Melissa Stark, who I was replacing, was really good at the job. I kept a smile plastered on my face. Everyone loves Melissa. She's great. But I'm really excited to be the new sideline reporter. Then she said, I waited for the next question. But Charlie wrapped it up and walked away. I stood on set shell-shocked. Afterwards, friends and family called, all with the same question. What did you do to piss off Charlie? Nothing. The guy didn't know me. He'd never seen my work, but he already hated me. So, like I said, the criticism of her was she was hired just for looks, not for working her way up. And that led to some dark moments. Now she's on Inside Edition now. She's doing very, very good. She's doing very, very good for herself. And, that's an inspirational story. You know, if she can share her experiences. Lisa Guerrero can share her experiences. If a person like Dak can share his experiences, Hayden Hurst, Solomon Thomas, then yeah, so I just made the videos of talking about inspiring others with my story. Just think about how many people Lisa Guerrero is inspiring. Just think about how many people Dak is inspiring. Hayden Hurst. No. So, all right. That's it. Thank you for watching the Sean Ferrell podcast. I am Sean Ferrell. Have a wonderful, tranquil rest of your weekend. I will see you all next week. You matter.